What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including major Ricochet news. Has WWE changed up Money in the Bank? Is CM Punk teaming up with Roman Reigns? A WWE legend return at Money in the Bank? Vince McMahon wanted Mia Yim to fake a seizure? Why Chad Gable re-signed with the WWE? Triple H already making plans for WrestleMania 41? Roman Reigns defeats Brock Lesnar to be the highest paid in WWE, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia XL. And now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at major Ricochet news. The top of the day's news is an update on the rumors about Ricochet being headed to AEW. Fans have been speculating about Ricochet's future ever since he announced he wasn't renewing his WWE deal. The Future of Flight's WWE contract expired recently, and while he was able to appear on the 3rd July Dynamite, he was actually nowhere to be found. However, Ricochet's agent was reportedly backstage at the event, and according to Fightful Select, Ricochet is expected in the company soon. It's unclear what plans AEW has for Ricochet, assuming he's signing, but Will Ospreay says he'd like to work with Ricochet, a situation that could lead to some huge matches. Next up, did WWE change up Money in the Bank? Did WWE take 2 matches off Money in the Bank? Well, Corey Brennan of Fightful Select is reporting originally WWE was debuting adding either Liv Morgan versus Zelina Vega or A-Town Down Under versus DIY to the Money in the Bank card, but decided to put them both on the go-home shows instead to add further interest for Raw and SmackDown. Triple H seems comfortable with booking no more than 5 matches on the WWE's PLEs unless they're a Big 4 event, a policy he shows no sign of changing. Next up is CM Punk teaming with Roman Reigns. It's time for some interesting speculation from Dave Meltzer, who noted in this week's Observer that they've done a tease that Punk could join with Reigns because they pushed the connection with Paul Heyman. The WWE Universe is already discussing Roman forming a team to take on Solo Sikoa in the War Games match, and who will align with Reigns. Do you think Punk will play a part in this storyline given his connection with Paul Heyman? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, a WWE legend at Money in the Bank. Now, it's been some time since the Toronto legend Trish Stratus was in WWE. In fact, her last match was at Payback in 2023 against Becky Lynch in a steel cage match. However, the former women's champion revealed that she will be back at Money in the Bank as a host. She also talked about retirement, as during a Q&A panel orchestrated by Going Ringside, she opened up about a possible retirement. Retirement? What is retirement? I'm not familiar with this word. I don't know anything about this word. We here, Trish and Lita, just stay ready. That's a general statement that we like to live by, just in case. Next up, main event for Money in the Bank revealed. Now, Meltzer is also reporting that Seth Rollins vs Damian Priest is slated to be the main event at Money in the Bank. Now, this makes sense, especially as it adds suspense that this year's briefcase winner could cash in his contract during or after the match. Next up, Vince McMahon wanted Mia Yim to fake a seizure on TV. A former superstar, Dijak, is dishing out the dirt on Vince McMahon, including a shocking claim about McMahon's mental status and a bizarre angle he asked Mia Yim to perform in. Dijak, whose WWE contract was not renewed, spoke with Forbes' Alfred Konuwa about McMahon telling Yim, who was involved in the Retribution storyline at the time, told her to mimic an epileptic seizure. This is Vince's idea. Vince wanted Mia Yim to pretend that she was having a seizure. He wanted her to pretend that she was having an epileptic seizure. And we were presented this by, I don't know, the writer or the producer, and we didn't want to shoot the messenger. You could see, I don't remember who it was, but you could see it in their face, that they're like, I'm sorry, but Vince wants you to have a seizure. And she's like, we're all like, what are you talking about? We can't do this. Dijak discussed a conversation he had with former producer Pat Buck about the WWE under Vince, but Pat was in the room when Vince came back and he pitched the seizure thing. But that's the way the production meetings worked back then under Vince. He'd say something and everyone would just have wide eyes because you can't call him on it. Where things get particularly interesting is Dijak recalling a conversation he had with wrestler turned backstage agent Scotty 2 Hotty, who told him about how Vince has changed from Scotty's run in the WWF during the 90s up until now. I asked, was there a dramatic difference between those two Vinces? And he was like, yes, a huge difference. Huge difference. Because back when he was in a promoter mode, he was kind of with the boys. He was one of the boys. Obviously, he was always being crazy eccentric character who's acting things out and blah blah blah. But Dijak continued discussing the alleged differences in McMahon. But toward the end of it, it just became this. And I don't want to assume it's a dementia thing, but it's kind of a parallel that everybody drew. He's 74 years old and there's some sort of legitimate issue with whatever is going on his head because he forgets stuff. But he remembers lots of specific things, but it's clear that he's losing his mind in some capacity. Obviously, we saw tons of evidence of that, so it's kind of where we land today. What do you guys think about this story? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Bron Breakker setting sights high. Bron Breakker is making it known that he has big goals in the WWE and won't settle for second best. The second-gen superstar, son of Hall of Famer Rick Steiner, appeared on the Masked Man show ahead of his Intercontinental Championship match at Saturday's Money in the Bank PLE, stating that, "I take this at a day at a time and try to stack as many positive days in a row as I possibly can, because you're either getting better or you're getting worse. My goal is to get better every single day. Every single time that I step out is the best version of me that the fans have ever seen. I owe it to them to give them my 100% best every single time they see me, because I'm new, I'm a rookie." Breakker enjoyed tremendous success in NXT, capturing the NXT Championship twice and the NXT Tag Team Championship with Baron Corbin. However, Breakker explained that he doesn't rest on his laurels, and "I treat it every single time when I go out and these people don't know who I am. They've never seen me before. My mentality is to earn these people's respect, that I belong up there. And not only do I belong, but I can be a main player here for a very long time. That's my mindset going forward on the main roster. My goal is to be the top guy in the future and just to carry the brand." Breakker, who signed with the WWE in 2021, is enjoying a blockbuster push, and many fans believe he's set to win his first singles title on the main roster come Saturday. What do you guys think of Bron Breakker, and do you think he'll emerge victorious at Money in the Bank? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, why did Chad Gable stay in WWE? Chad Gable recently signed a new deal with the WWE, despite heavy interest from other promotions in signing the former Shorty G. Gable, who's been tearing things up over the last 8 months with his quest for the Intercontinental Championship and heel turn, spoke on the Cheap Heat podcast with Peter Rosenberg about his decision to stay in WWE. "I've done some reflection. I've done some reflecting about what re-signing means for me, not just professionally or financially going forward, but what it meant to me, and as you said, I'm getting older." Gable explained that he's focusing on his legacy in wrestling and how he can help out younger wrestlers as a backstage leader and someone they can go to for help. Gable gave an example of his goal. "We got guys like the Creeds who are just these incredible athletes. Everybody's seen their athleticism, but they don't necessarily have they haven't got the guiding light for them to show the other stuff, the other aspect." Gable said his own experience as an athlete and superstar could be beneficial, especially for aspiring wrestlers coming in from the sports world. "I think I would have a lot of value, especially to the people that, WWE and both NXT seem to be really interested in lately, which is a lot of people with sporting backgrounds making their jump from amateur athletics with the NIL deals and all that stuff. So I think there's a big chance for me to be stepping into a nice leadership role and offer some insight to those guys or whatever I can." Gable's WWE career dates back to 2013, but up until recently, his career stayed at the mid-card level with notable tag team runs but single pushes always fizzling out. However, that's changed over the last 8 months for Gable. His commitment to the WWE has finally paid off. "I'm like a loyal guy, right? So I start somewhere and I want to finish there. If I start something, anything, I want to finish it. And I'm just so happy and fortunate that the idea of finishing it now looks different than it would have been a few years ago, which would have been just fulfilling my contract would have been finished. Now finishing it means accomplishing things, winning championships, and then leaving a real legacy. And to me, that's the most important thing." Although he's come up short in his bid for the IC Championship, he's involved in multiple storylines including the Wyatt Six, and his momentum suggests a future singles title run is a very big possibility. Next up, Triple H already making plans for WrestleMania 41. It's been said that time waits for no man, and it appears that the Chief Content Officer Triple H is taking it to heart. In case you missed the WWE's WrestleMania 40 Behind the Curtain documentary, Triple H detailed the events leading up to WrestleMania 40 and the drastic changes he had to implement, making major decisions. Probably one of the biggest decisions of his entire career. The game also revealed that he's also working on WrestleMania 41. Whilst this isn't a big surprise given our fans have heard of Triple H's policy of long-term planning, it's a refreshing change from the later years of Vince McMahon's run in creative, where fans, WWE writers, and superstars never knew where there would be sudden and sometimes dramatic changes in plans. And finally, Roman Reigns to become highest paid. Last but not least, as the wrestling world awaits the return of Roman Reigns, a rumor is circulating that Roman is set to become the highest paid performer in WWE history. During an episode of his podcast, Straight Talk with the Boss, a former wrestler Magnum TA noted, "I heard Roman is going to have the highest salary of any employee in history when he comes back, that his deal was going to be bigger than Brock's, and Brock's was $12 million. What do you guys think of this? Should Reigns be the highest paid superstar in WWE history? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.